Let's wind up on this conversation with the politics that played out. Deputy President said the legacy of the president is safe with him, together with the bottom-up approach. Francis Atuoli, go to Secretary General, was here yesterday with Jeff Koinange, and he said categorically that the Deputy President will not win the election. What are your thoughts?
Well, before I go to that, Kazi Mutaani, the Senator Wamatangi, said it is an economic program, it should not be political. The first phase was political. In Nyeri, the people of Madeira were not given anything because I was supposed to be BBI. Yeah? As opposed to my colleagues in Nyeri Town and Kenny who were pro-BBI, all the young men were employed from those areas. When we were doing the by-election in Kiambaa, the Kazi Mutaani beneficiaries were called by the chiefs, and they were told if they don't vote for the Jubilee candidate, they will be removed from the list. So I am hoping that the president's intention of putting 10 billion for this program will not be hijacked by Harambee House prefects to make it a political program as we go towards elections. It should be an economic program. And I would have been happier if we considered small grants to these young people to start some small businesses and employ other people instead of just giving them, and it's not sustainable, because this is not sustainable. It will be done for a while, then it will fizzle out. The politics of yesterday, the Deputy President is not in competition with the President. The Deputy President has been there with the President, and there are certain things they did together. They went well. Others they did together, they did not go well. It's politically smart for him to get the ones that went well and use it as a way to market himself, because everybody must market himself. I listened to the former Prime Minister, and I was thinking about it last night. And the former Prime Minister is dwelling on history, you know, who fought for independence, who didn't fight, who did Kibaki Tosha, who didn't do it, the Luo community supported this and that. And most of the voters in this coming election were not there during. They are least interested in these historical narratives. Important as history it is, most voters are interested to know what is your economic program. What are you going to do to put food on their table? How are you going to create employment? So I think every leader who got a chance had the opportunity to tell the people of Kenya why they should vote for you in a very subtle way. You know, the former Prime Minister was telling the people of Central Kenya they should vote for him because he said Kibaki Tosha. Yeah, a message I think he should ask Kibaki, because he's the one who benefited from that Tosha thing. I did not benefit from Tosha myself. That is not a good reason for me to vote for him. I would like to vote for him if he convinces me that life will be better for me and my children. I will be able to vote for him if he tells me what is his economic model. How does he intend to revive the economy? How does he intend to put money in my pocket and the pockets of the Kenyan people? Yeah. So, and I think the president did the right thing. Kept off the succession. Yeah. And that is what we have been saying ourselves. He's not a contender. He's doing his last term. He asked Kenyans to give him 10 years. They gave him 10 years. He should be gracious to the people of Kenya for giving the 10 years and let them do what they want, the way Kibaki did. And I think the president was stately. He was nationalistic. He kept off politics. He kept off succession. And in my view, if he allowed me to advise him, of course I'm a very small man to advise him, that is the way to go, all the way. He should just deal on the economy, see what he can do the remaining 9 months, see what he can do to complete the ongoing projects, see how to wrap up his legacy, you know, because he has done very well in terms of infrastructural development, but he risks messing that legacy if he muddles up in the 2022 succession. But if he concentrates on reviving the economy, he concentrates on completing the projects that he has already started, you know, the way the Deputy President was saying, then his legacy is so assured. But if he deviates and get involved into this succession thing, people are likely not to see those good things that he has done, and are likely to look at his meddling, you know, in what he shouldn't meddle in, given that himself, he has had his term, he is outgoing, Kenya is a democratic country, and he must allow the people of Kenya, without any coercion, without any intimidation, to democratically elect the next president of the Republic of Kenya and form the government that they so desire.
And Ratuli's remarks?
Well, I don't know who Matwali speaks for. Because I've never heard the workers of Kenya give him a mandate to speak on matters politics. The workers of Kenya have serious challenges, you know, which he does not articulate. He just articulates about politics. One, he's just an individual, and the decision on who will be the president of the Republic of Kenya, Trevor, will be made by the people of Kenya. You know, Atwoli may have his personal opinion, and by the way, he's entitled to it. But as to whom he can convince, the last time I checked, when I was working in Kakamega, I was a district officer in a place called Navaholo. He was a candidate in a place called Quisero. He did not even get 1,000 votes. So I doubt whom he speaks for. I don't know what sway he has politically. Many times he has been marketing RailaOdinga in Western. He has not made it through as president. And I think even you people in Citizen, you need also, these shows you do, sometimes to bring people who have some mandate to speak on such issues. Because you keep on bringing him, and we ask ourselves, whom does he speak for? You know? And is he God? You know, when he says deputy president will not be on the ballot, on what basis is he uttering such sentence? And we have been saying, would have wanted the DCI to call Atwoli to record a statement. When you say somebody will not be there,
he said he will not win.
No, he has been. He's changing. He has changed his statement. The first time he said he was in Lamu, and it was on live. He said Ruto will not be there in 2022. Somebody should have asked him, come and explain exactly what do you mean, and then he can explain, and then the matter can rest. But as far as I'm concerned, the decision on the next president of the Republic of Kenya will be made by the people of Kenya on 9th of August in a democratic election.
Dr. Mutua, and this will also be your closing remarks. Run out of time.
Oh, thank you very much. It's good to start from that point in terms of the politics. You know, I don't talk about what they said, but it's interesting. Somebody sent me a message last night and said, you know, in 1991, majority of voters were not born. That was 30 years ago. And if you look at some of these people who are being paraded there as the leaders of this country, they were also there in 1991, you know, 30 years ago. You know, and some of them, I saw a meme the other day asking somebody, what do you guys do? And they say we threaten to run for president every 5 years. You know, some of them have just been there because the issue of track record comes in. If you want somebody to be a president, it's not about you liking him or being from your tribe or whatever. It's about the person's track record and what that person will be able to do for you and for your life. Let me take a pause here, even as I finish, say something very important, especially to our young people who were not there 30 years ago when these people who threatened to run for president were there. I was talking to a team very close to me. I call them Mamushi. And we're talking about that it doesn't matter what you do. If it's swimming, if it's football, if it's different various sports, if it's art, if it's making masks so that you can make money, you need to do something for yourself. It's not about the government coming to help you. It's about you doing something and let the government catch up with you or be able to facilitate you. But if you sit and say you're waiting for the government to help you, you'll never succeed. You know, the writer Paulo Coelho writes in The Alchemist and says that it is a possibility of having a dream come true that makes life interesting. But your dreams cannot come true unless you get out of your seat and you work, as Tim Mamushi would tell you. Paulo Coelho also says that when you want something, all the universe conspires in helping you to achieve it if you put your effort together. But this also has to work in a good environment. We need the economy. That's why I'm very happy with these things that are rolling back bureaucracy. The economy has to continue, but things will not succeed unless we also fight corruption. Because we have enough money in this country, but a lot of it is stolen over and over again by leaders, by corrupt systems. We have to contain that. You cannot have economic growth if there's runaway corruption as it is in this country, as the president has declared. Curfew. somebody send me a message and say that I tell you that curfew, this removing of the curfew has really helped this country because many people are on their knees. Somebody say that remind them also that SMEs in tourism and transport have been grounded also by regulations that help the big fish and invading other countries that come and invade the tourist market. So we have regulations that have been put in place, and we've discussed it here, that are helping the big fish, that are constraining the tourism, transport, regulations that make it difficult for Kenyans to breathe. That is why when we take over with my friend here, the first thing we'll do is remove this bureaucracy to make it simple for people to be able to breathe. Kenyans just want a simple life. Just enable me to work. Let me realize my dreams. Wake up and continue. And lastly is, if somebody sees Dr. Boni Alwale, msalimie na mwambie sijui alienda wapi. Maybe next time we need to, my friend, umekwambia lete chakula hapa. Bring some chicken so that Boni Alwale doesn't starve and doesn't show up. We miss you, Dr. Boni Alwale. Somebody who knows him, tell him we miss him, and we hope we can see him here,
next week.
Next week or so, as we continue.
Very brief because I've run out of time.
Okay. Would you allow me first to start by, not really explaining, but differentiating from what my good friend Mheshimiwa Rigathi said on the issue of what I talked about on Kazi Mtaani. The difference between the concept I spoke about, Mheshimiwa, is that it's not the concept of politicizing a process. It is what the concept is for, and I spoke from the perspective of economics, sound economics, and I'm sure in your free time you can look up some of the precepts of good economic planning and look up at something called the Keynesian theory. That was started by one of the major economists in this world, in the history of economics. It's called John Maynard Keynes. Then you see that that program of incentivizing people from the ground is one of the major concepts that have been used since World War II. To make
GI
sure,
bill.
Even the GI bill. But otherwise, you can politicize anything, even lunch. You can go and sit on a table and it can be politicized. You can politicize even vaccinations, anything you want to politicize. So I believe what you're speaking about is politicization of a process, which is another story altogether. And I hope that none of all this is politicized. And I like what the president did also, Trevor, yesterday.
Yeah,
because he set the tone and tenor of the event to the effect that it was very difficult. And one of the observations I would make, and that I did make out of the speeches that were given, especially by the big two, that is William Ruto and RailaOdinga, I saw they were struggling a lot. To inject a tone of politics when the president had already set the platform, that it was almost, it was politics free. And even when they were trying now to bring in their concept, they had to blend it so much, such that that's why you find that, RailaOdinga had to tell the story of how and blah, 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 to bring his own. And that's why, also William Ruto in his invocation of bottoms up, he had to really find ways of mixing it there so that it can find or rear its head. But otherwise, I believe what the president did is good. In other events, probably what we'll be doing is when we have candidates who are running for presidency, others can also get a mention, a recognition, like all those that are there, they are around, they are around, so that the playing field is level. And I believe at that point, my good friend would have had a mention of Dr. Mutua, Wamatangi and others. Yeah. But however, Trevor, in summation, I think I just want to say, if what the president has proposed yesterday is implemented, then we could see a country that is starting to revive after the TKO that were almost given by COVID. And eventually now we start seeing our people back to work. It is sad when one takes a walk around town and you find small hotels, cafeterias where people used to sell closed. You get into any other small areas, go to Gikomba, you find most people who are there have gone home. Go up country, people will tell you stories of how they are unable to put food on their table. If these incentives are implemented one by one, case by case, I believe we are going to have the revival that we're looking for. On the platform of politics, I believe, and the two leaders who spoke were speaking from the epicenter of what is the political focus this year, Mount Kenya region. I was hoping that somehow we would get a sidelines with them, because I've been expecting and waiting, Trevor, that I want to hear from all these leaders who understands us, who understands the people of Mount Kenya region, who. Because, I've been hearing a lot of talk from most of them, this and that and that and that, but no one has been able to address our critical issues as the people of Mount Kenya region. And I want to say it here on this platform, that what we intend to do as the people of Mount Kenya region first is to join other Kenyans on the big table of building a national government and a national front with our interests entangled and mixed with the interests of the other communities of this country, so that we can have one good blend of what this country should look like. And to do that, once we have chosen who our leader is, it must be one who also clearly, without stutter, is able to show and say to us that they feel us, that they know us, that they understand us, that they want to work with us. I'm yet to hear that. And once I do, then we'll be able to conglomerate as a community and say, let us join other communities at this table and say, now we have found people who can be able to work with the people of Mount Kenya region and
thank you
build
so
a
much.
good country.
Thank you, gentlemen. Dr. Kimani Wamatangi, Kiambu Senator, Dr. Alfred Mutua, Governor Machakos, and Honorable